Margot, you wait.
Roy. Hi, come on in.
How you feeling?
I'm okay.
Good, good. You know, we're all really sorry about...
Oh, hey. I know, thank you. Oh, I want to thank you for the beautiful flowers you, Mac, and the rest of the gang sent. They're beautiful.
That's the least we could do.
And Hal sent me roses all the way from Edinburgh.
Oh, Edinburgh.
Edinburgh. I can't believe he's over there rousing around with the rest of the falcon ring. You're over here busting the falcon ring, and I'm lying in a hospital bed. It's not fair.
Hey, who told you life was fair, huh?
Not me, that's for sure. Well, I guess this isn't entirely a social visit, is it? You probably want to ask me questions about what happened that night?
Right.
I can only remember up to a certain point. I mean, when Hensley fell on top of me, I got such a pain, all I could think about was, you know...
Hey, look, if this is too hard on you, we don't have to go through this now.
No,
I'm
all right.
I'm
fine. I'm fine. Good.
All right, what happened after you ran down the passageway after Taggart? I mean, before Stenbeck found you?
Before who found me?
They didn't tell you? It was James Stenbeck. He carried you out. He risked his life to save you.
Excuse me, I couldn't resist. Used to have one myself. Chair like this.
Oh, but a much bigger one. It must have been bigger. Look, I've been doing my homework on you, Mr. Stenbeck. And you've got really smashing entrepreneurial credentials.
Well, that's quite a compliment coming from a lady like you.
How did you manage to post bail? How did you manage that if you've spent the last 3 years as a lowly bookkeeper?
Well, you have. And he got a low bail set by the judge, and I dipped into Lester Key's lowly savings account.
Everything's very low around there. Oh, Mr. Stenbeck, my readership, I have a large female readership. Statistically, the Sunday Times does. And I think they would like to know about the women in your life. We'd like to know how you rate them, for example. Which one was the most important to you?
Oh, well, that's easy. The lady who introduced us, Barbara Ryan. Losing Barbara was the biggest mistake of my life.
Something wrong, Betsy?
Yeah. Yeah, Emily, you weren't visiting your mother, were you?
What?
Well, I was worried about you, okay? So I called up Omaha. I talked to Susan. She said she hadn't heard from you since your birthday. As a matter of fact, she was a little perturbed. She never got a thank you for that check.
So you were checking up on me?
Yeah, I guess I was. Since Barbara told me you went home in such a big hurry, I was a little surprised. I mean, Emily, come on, that was the last place I know you would go.
Look, I think I'll just get out of your way. I'm gonna go to the hospital, okay?
All right, give Ivan and Margot my love.
Yeah, sure, okay. I'll see you later. Listen, Emily, if there's one person on this earth that you can trust, it happens to be your sister. She's just trying to help you.
Hey, kid, you know he's right. I want to be a friend, okay? But it's very difficult for me when you keep making up all these stories. I don't know what to believe.
Betsy, why are you making such a big deal out of all this?
Because it is a big deal, Emily. It goes way beyond the family now. Police were here earlier. Apparently, they found your phone numbers. Omaha, Kim, the grandma ones, in Hensley Taggart's personal phone book.
I knew what they were doing there.
Turns. This portion brought to you today by that takes the grease out of your way, and by Aero Plus, protein power to cut clean through.
Oh, I want to make myself terribly clear about something. I will not have my newspaper used to gloss over facts of your past that you would prefer to have forgotten.
I promised you the truth.
Wonderful. But anyway, I've had Ambrose draw up a contract for us. It's really very simple. It just states that if I cancel, I try to get my money back.
Yes, but there's one thing I want added before I sign this.
All right, what?
Here, that if your writers sensationalize any of the truth that I tell them to sell newspapers, that our deal is off and I keep the cash.
Oh, fine. Let's do that. We'll put that in.
Excuse me, Mrs. Walsh. Judith Clayton and Mary Jane Davies are at the reception desk.
Already. Are you ready?
As I'll ever be.
Send them in, Jane. Well. There. Ooh. Oh. Living on a low bookkeeper's salary.
Knitted it myself.
Miss Clayton and Miss Davies.
How do you do?
This is Mr. James
Davies.
Stenbeck.
Very nice to meet you. Well, it seems we're going to be spending a great deal of time together, so let's get started.
James Stenbeck is alive. James Stenbeck saved my life?
Well, according to Brian, he carried you all the way to the dock. He wouldn't put you down until he got you in the ambulance on the other side.
Incredible. Has John Dixon seen him?
Mm-hmm. He had Brian call the police and have him arrested the minute he did.
Well, I'm not surprised. Wait a minute, what was James Stenbeck doing out at the castle?
Well, suppose we can piece it together. Stenbeck worked for Taggart. He's been in Scotland, and he apparently had a complete loss of memory until recently.
I'll say it again, incredible.
Yeah. What's more is he came to the castle just in time to see Taggart attacking Barbara Ryan. Pulled a gun, boom, shot him.
James Stenbeck shot Hensley Taggart. All along I thought Duncan had done it.
Nope. Meanwhile, we figure Taggart was behind the whole Falcon operation. He was just using McKechnie's business as a cover. McKechnie claims he knows nothing about it.
Do you believe him?
Well, I was trained just like you to accept the evidence until we get something that's proof that's not
Margot,
so.
dear,
Oh, hi, Dr. Samuels.
your husband just called and he's on his way to see you.
Boy, will you do me a favor? There's a hairbrush and a mirror in the top drawer. I'm going to fix myself all up. I want to look my best. Even though my best is nothing to write home about these days. I'm going to do it. Let me see this. Ah! Ah! Ah!
So, do you know Hensley Taggart?
I met him on that trip I took to Europe after I left college. He was the first older man I had ever met. Took a lot of interest in me, so I was intrigued. After I went home, I went to a shrink in Omaha that said it was a father transference because I'd never really gotten to know our father. But anyway, he took me places, gave me expensive presents, made me feel important, you know?
Yeah.
I decided I was in over my head. Went back home to Omaha. Thought it was all behind me till one day he called me at home. He threatened to come to Omaha unless I would meet him in New York.
Emily, was this the same guy that kept calling you at the cabin?
You can't imagine how freaked out I was the night I went down. Suddenly there he was, here in Oakdale.
Well, if you were so frightened of him, why did you let him take you home? Find out where you live.
I didn't. I had Holden drop me off at Grandma's, but Hensley followed us in his car. I didn't know what he was gonna do.
Well, why didn't you tell us?
You don't understand what kind of a man he was. When I read in the newspaper on the plane that he'd been killed, I was actually relieved.
Well, then why did you leave town in such a big hurry?
I had to get away from him. He wanted me to go away with him. Now I know why. The police were after him.
So where did you go?
I went to visit a friend in Toronto. You can check it out if you don't believe me. Her name is Jeannie Simpson.
Look, Emily, come on. All I want from you is for you to look me straight in the eye and
Ugly truth. And what good did it do? You don't believe me. Such an honesty, especially after what happened to Tad Channing. You don't even tell your own husband the truth.
Audrey.
Oh, hello, Tom.
Yeah. I'm just on my way to see Margot. How's she doing?
Well, she's progressing. She's still very weak, though, so I'd make it short if I were you. Oh, one thing you might try to do, though. Talk to her about having a few sessions with Lynn Michaels.
What do you think, she's not accepting what's happened?
Well, it's hard to say. But in cases like this, grieving is a necessary part of the healing process.
She's a pretty strong lady.
Yes, but that's exactly what worries me, John. She's suppressing all her real feelings for the sake of putting on a good face.
Enjoy the ride. Yes, well, congratulations. Your mother will be very pleased.
Well, she wanted to walk down here on her own, but we put a kibosh on her.
Oh, I don't see why.
Oh, kibosh.
Really? You see this? I don't think your mom wasted any time.
What's that? Starting Sunday, the real story of James Stenbeck, told exclusively by the man himself. You tell Margot I'll be in to see her a little bit later.
Yeah.
Dr. Samuels, how is she?
Hi, Tom. She's looking forward to your visit very much. But, Tom, you have got to talk to her about her inability to carry to term.
I will, when the time is right. I will.
She's already asking me questions about the results of my examination. Now, if she asks me directly, I'll have to tell her.
I'll tell her. Hey, buddy, did you get any sleep?
Not really. I tried.
Yeah, give Margaret my best, will you? I don't want to say to the guy.
I'm sure Tom and Margot understand.
Hey, look who's up and down.
Hi. Yeah,
How you
first
doing?
time. Fine.
Hey, guess what? Mrs. Walsh agreed to help me through nursing school. Isn't that great? I start in January. Terrific. Anyway, I gotta file all these before 4, so see you later.
Bye.
There you are. I've
Hi.
been looking all over for you. I got the estimates on the new job you wanted to look for.
Oh, okay.
Excuse me, let me get some coffee. Do you want anything?
No, thank you.
Who's us?
Sit down.
Steve,
You guys are.
I'd like
No. I already know what you're going to say. You think I'm spreading myself too thin. Look, this will keep the crew working, especially Mike. Miller Brothers did not snap up another job. And I can split my time between this and the new house.
I'm just afraid that you're overextending yourself with this.
Well, you can stop worrying, all right? I got an increase on the loan from Lucinda, so our cash problems are over, thanks to Tony.
I'm sorry that you had to hear about my Thanksgiving trip to Europe from Meg. My mom thought it'd be a good idea to be with the family for Thanksgiving, so we're going to visit Tony and Sierra.
Will Holden be there?
Yes.
I guess you're looking forward to seeing him, right?
I'd be lying if I said I wasn't. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I miss you, too. I'd give anything if you were here, Seth. Look, we... Astronomical. Yeah, I love you. Okay. Bye. This is hard being so far away from him.
Oh, I know. Oh, Franny, I'm dreading tonight so much. I can just imagine what Tonio's reaction will be when I tell him my plans.
I think it takes a lot of courage to decide to raise a baby on your own.
Yeah. Ugh, I just keep thinking about how different my life would have been if I hadn't run off and married Tonio. Well. So, did Seth have any news on Margot?
Only that she's still in the hospital and very weak.
She must be heartbroken.
Yeah, that baby meant everything to them.
Hello, Sierra.
Oh,
Hi. How are you?
I'd like you to meet a good friend of mine, Jocelyn Higgins. Sierra Reyes.
Hello. Hi, nice to meet you.
Fanny Hughes.
How do you do?
Jocelyn's the one I've been talking to you about. She's with an Institute for Psychophysical Research in Oxford.
Right. I've been hoping to meet you.
Oh, you too. I hear you're in Dr. Hildebrand's lectures.
Yeah, do you know him?
Slightly. You're very fortunate to be studying with him. I may try and sit in once or twice if he'll let me.
Oh, good.
I'll go see who that is.
That's probably Tonio's, excuse me.
Sierra's in pre-med classes in Oakdale.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yes, and with a lot of classes to make up when I get back.
You look lovely.
Good evening.
Hi. How are you, Tonio?
I'm fine, Franny.
Tonio Reyes, Jocelyn Higgins, Tonio Sierra's husband.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Miss Higgins.
I went to the grocery store. I got the stuff.
Really? You are?
Yeah.
Very nice, Tonio.
Well, I've made reservations for us at the Savoy Grill.
You know, I really prefer someplace less formal so we can really talk.
You might try the White Horse Pub. It's nice and quiet and just around the corner.
Oh, sounds good. Shall we?
All right. Nice to have met you.
Thank you.
Oh, nice meeting you.
Have a nice dinner, huh?
Thank you.
Well, sit down.
Thank you.
So, what do you specialize in, Jocelyn?
Psychical research, but autism as well.
Yeah?
That's why I'm so interested in Dr. Hildebrand's lectures on child psychology, because he really is...
Hello.
Hi, this is Holden Snyder. May I speak to Tonio Reyes, please?
Sorry, you just missed him.
Oh, well, how about Franny? Is Franny there?
Sure, hold on. Holden Snyder.
Oh, great. Excuse me.
Good.
Thanks. Hi. I just talked to Seth.
Oh, yeah? How's he doing?
He's fine. Fine. Listen, do you have to work much longer? I'd love it if you could come over and meet my cousin Amy and her friend from Oxford.
I wish that I could, but Tonio left me a pile of work.
Well, can't you come over for just a little while?
Well, all right. I'll be there.
Good. Good. Bye, Holden.
Amy's just been telling me about that girl you saw at the airport.
Oh, yeah, well, I try not to think about it, but it's kind of on my mind.
Understandable. It's one of the strongest of all psychological fantasies. The thought of having a twin somewhere in the world. But few people are ever lucky enough to actually see theirs.
Tell me, is there any truth to the rumor that you had your wife falsely committed to a sanitarium in order to gain sole custody of your son, Paul?
Judith, darling. No, that's quite all right. Yes, it does happen to be true. You see, at the time, I was convinced, I had this very unrealistic belief that certain people, including my wife, were trying to take my son away from me. I'm not trying to excuse what I did, but anyone who has loved a child, especially their own son, can understand what I did. Of course, if I'd had psychological help earlier in my life, everything would have been different.
What was it like to see your son after 5 years of being presumed dead?
Well, when I first got my memory back and found myself here in Oakdale, I decided that I wouldn't reveal myself to Paul. But then I couldn't resist. I love him. He's my son. He's my only child.
Mr. Stenbeck, I'm curious, since your past made such a powerful impact on this community, what are your plans now?
Well, first I want to try and right some of the wrongs that I did, especially my former wife, Barbara, and my son.
Dixon, you can't go. John, sorry, I tried to stop. What the hell are you doing here?
You know, if you ladies really want the scoop on this man, this James Stenbeck here, perhaps you ought to talk to one of the people he tried to murder.
John, this is private. This is not a
Do
press
you realize
conference.
that you're
This is not
dealing with a
court of
man who
law.
hijacked an airplane, deliberately tried to kill the passengers on board, including a defenseless child? You're elevating to a celebrity, a common criminal. This man doesn't belong on the front pages. You belong in prison.
Jane, don't just stand there. Get security.
Listen to me, John. I'll answer those charges in a court of law if it comes to that. But I am not on trial here.
There is no judge in his right mind that would have released this man on bail. What did you do? Did you bribe him?
Oh, knock it off, John. I'm running a newspaper here. The public has the right to hear this man's story, and he has the right to tell it.
The public has a right to hear the truth. You weren't living in this town when he was running around on the loose.
I am interested. Now, Dr. Dixon, it is public knowledge that this man saved your daughter's life at Duncan McKechnie's castle. Surely you're grateful to him for that.
I'm not interested in John Dixon's gratitude, and I find this holier-than-thou attitude of his quite amusing, considering the fact that it's common knowledge that he faked his own murder and tried to blame it on me. And a lot of people suffered in this town as a result of that, including his ex-wife.
Good. I want this man out of my office. This one.
It's all right. I'm leaving. I'm leaving. Don't do this.
Moving right along. Will you excuse me, ladies? I'd like to ask a question. Mr. Stenbeck, is that true, what you said, that Dr. Dixon faked his murder and blamed you?
Absolutely. I'll fill you in on the lurid details later.
Wow, well, ladies, I think I should take him up on that.
Knock, knock.
Hi. I've been waiting for you.
Hi.
Just trying to...
You look terrific.
Oh. Getting myself all gussied up for my gorgeous husband.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Listen,
I wanted...
We're doing it again.
No, you go first.
No, you go.
No, you go first.
No, you.
No. Okay, I'll go first.
No, I'll go.
I'll go first.
I'll go first. I talked to Dad. He's on his way to see Franny in London, and he wanted me to give you his love.
Oh, she'll be thrilled.
Yeah, I think she's getting a little homesick there.
Oh. Did you get some rest?
Mm-hmm. Getting a good nap over at Kim's. I feel about, 100% better.
Good. I worry about you.
Me?
Yeah.
I'm not the one in the hospital.
Well, I'm not going to be in the hospital for long. Roy came by earlier. Not only did he tell me that James Stenbeck is alive, but that James Stenbeck saved my life.
Yeah.
Why didn't you tell me?
I did not want to upset you.
I can't believe it. And that Hensley Taggart was the Falcon?
Mm-hmm.
I told Roy that I'm going to go back to work right away as soon as I feel up to it.
Hey.
Not tomorrow, but
Not
as soon as
tomorrow.
I can't sit around that house when you go back to work in January full time.
I know.
So did you hire that attorney from Chicago? Take over your farm?
No, I haven't spoken to her again.
Her? You left out that part.
Would you stop it? She comes highly recommended.
I bet.
I haven't met her yet, but I've got lots of time. I don't have to worry about her.
You do not have lots of time. The holidays are coming up. I think we should do lots of entertaining. How about it? Do you think that's a good idea? Entertain lots and lots.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
Good. Hey.
Hey, what?
Give me a big hug. You big lug.
Come here.
I'll be back at work tomorrow. At least I promise. Would it be all right if Debbie covered for me in the afternoon? I have to find a place to live. No, it's just that it's time I found my own place. On a yacht? That sounds like fun. No, the size isn't important. Great. I can't wait to come see it. Thanks. Okay, bye-bye.
Hi. Hey, what's with the suitcase? Is something wrong?
Betsy and I had a big argument. I think it's better off for all of us if I just left.
No, come on, that's silly. It can't be that bad. Stay, let's talk it out.
No, you two need to be alone. You don't need me hanging around.
Whoa. Now, come on, tell me. What happened?
I told some lies, and it was a big mistake. Just like Betsy found out with Ted Channing.
Lies about what?
I was involved with an older man once. Looks like I'm gonna pay for it for the rest of my life.
Look, Betsy and I knew that you were covering something up, but I mean, that's out in the open now. Let's deal with it and everything will be cool.
No, I tried. It didn't help. I don't blame Betsy for the things she said. I can understand why she was annoyed when I barged in.
You barged in? Where?
Craig's office. When I came in, she was in Craig's arms. Oh, I'm sorry.
No.
Oh, I shouldn't have told you. Oh, please don't tell Betsy.
Hey.
I've already caused so much trouble already.
Don't get upset. It's
everything wrong.
No, it's all right. It's all right.
Steve, I can't imagine how anyone that had you would ever look at another man.
This portion of As the World Turns has been brought to you today by Rich Delicious Mountain-Grown Folgers Crystals and by Zest Deodorant Bar. Only Zest gets you zestfully clean. We'll continue with part 2 of As the World Turns in just a moment. And now, part 2 of As the World Turns.
Oh, I just hate it. I feel like my whole family is getting in debt to Lucinda Walsh. Thank you. I mean, first it's Uncle Henry, then me, then Holden, and now Meg. I don't know. I feel like she's subsidizing our whole family.
That's why I didn't like the idea of Steve taking a loan. The woman's not to be trusted.
I know she isn't. But you...
Yeah,
Thank you.
I got it.
Thank you. Hello?
Iva, it's me, Holden.
Hi, Holden. Are you still in London?
Yeah, I am. How you doing?
Well, I'm doing much, much better. I'm bound and determined to get home by Thanksgiving. Do you think you're going to be there by then?
I don't think so. Tonio's working my butt off over here. But I did find out that Lily and her mother are going to be coming over here for the holidays.
Oh?
Listen, the reason I'm calling, I overheard Tonio talking to Miss Walsh long distance on the phone. I got the feeling that Steve's in some sort of trouble with some kind of a loan.
Well, what exactly did you hear?
Nothing specific, but I think that it would be a good idea if Steve paid that loan.
Okay, I'll pass that message on. And thank you.
Okay. You know, when I took this job, you talked to me about values and being my own man. I think that that's probably part of the reason why I called.
Well, I'm really proud of you, Holden. And you take care, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Thanks.
Well?
Well,
You
what?
want to tell me what's wrong?
I don't know what's wrong. I don't know. Holden overheard a conversation between Lucinda and Tonio, and it gave Holden the idea that Steve is in some kind of trouble with this loan. And Holden thinks that Steve should pay Lucinda back as soon as possible. I heard it. Will you check it out for me?
Talk to her and check it out for me.
Call me later.
What was that all about?
Nothing. But I'm glad you came by. Because I want to talk to you about something that I couldn't talk to you about in front of people. Meg, I really wish you would reconsider taking that money from Lucinda Walsh. I think if you just save your money, if you just work real hard, and you could start next January.
Wait a whole year? No way.
But don't you understand? You're doing it all over again. You're pushing too hard. Just like you did with Dusty. Please, Meg,
Hey,
just reconsider.
I know what I
taking that
want, and
money from
I'm going
her.
to get it.
Hi, Meg. Excuse me.
Hi, has Craig been around?
He just left a minute ago.
Oh, darn it, I need to find him. I need the rest of the day off. Having, some family problems.
Is Danny okay?
No, Danny's okay. It's not my daughter I'm worried about. It's my kid's sister.
Oh, terrific, terrific. I've had a lot of experience with kid sisters. What's wrong?
Well, I'm not really sure. You know, Iva, I think part of the problem is that I didn't see Emily for so many years, you know. And now I'm trying to make up for all that lost time too quickly.
Well, I just went through I did the same thing with Meg. I learned the hard way. I think you just have to, I don't know, I guess just stand strong and not let all those years cloud your judgment.
Well, how did you first get interested in the field of child psychology, Franny?
Well, I was in love with a man who was very troubled.
He was a victim of child abuse. I was convinced that if he'd gotten help, he'd have been well. But he died. Anyway, I set up a clinic in Houston with some of the money he left me.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
I'll get that.
Thanks. So, do you live in Oxford, Jocelyn, or do you commute?
No, I commute.
Really? Well, maybe if our schedules fit, we could take the train together sometime.
I'd like that. So tell me more about this girl that looked just like you.
Will? Oh. Hey, you made it.
Yep.
Amy, Jocelyn, this is Holden, Seth's brother.
Hi,
We're
Amy.
the executive
Hi,
training
Jocelyn.
program here.
Oh, have you seen much of our fair city?
Unfortunately, I haven't. I've been tied up behind a desk. Guess what?
What?
I heard from Lily.
Oh.
Her and her mother are going to be on their way over here for Thanksgiving.
Hey, that's great.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing her and all, but it's still going to be kind of strange not spending Thanksgiving out at the farm.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I'm kind of homesick for Oakdale and the farm, too.
I'm glad to hear you missed me. I told Franny the hardest part of being in London was being away from you.
Here you are.
Thanks.
Where were you? London?
How'd you guess? So, how are things with you and John these days?
Well, I guess things are getting better. I'm a little worried about him. He's totally crazed about James Stenbeck.
I think you'd be a lot upset, just as upset as John is. I mean, knowing that the guy's back, you told me that he tried to kill you.
He did try to kill me. And I used to have bad dreams about it all the time.
Hi, guys. Sorry to interrupt.
Sure you are.
Dusty, I was wondering whether you could give me a ride home tonight.
I'm working till late.
Oh, that's okay. I still have to fill out this application anyway. I can't believe it. My new career. I'm so excited. I want to be just like Lila one day.
Just like Lila. Well, you have your work cut out for you, don't you? I have to go now.
You do?
Yes.
What about your food?
Oh.
Ooh, who's that over there?
Hello, Dustin. I'm not sure if you remember me or not, but I'm...
Yeah, I
James
remember
Stenbeck.
who you are. I know you are.
Now, listen, I know that John has probably filled your head with all kinds of stories, but I want a chance to discuss the past.
You and I don't have anything to discuss. I know it was you who locked me in the hut, and you set it on fire, and you were going to kill everybody in the plane that night.
No, everything that happened on that plane was totally misrepresented by Gunnar.
Gunnar told the story exactly like it happened. He risked his life to save all of us from you.
Listen, Dustin, I'm not sure if you can understand this or not, but there are a lot of very difficult things going on.
I don't want to
in my
hear
life.
it, James, okay? I have one thing to say to you, and after that, I don't want to talk to you ever again. I don't know why you came back here. I don't know why the police are letting a guy like you run around, but if you ever dare try to hurt anybody that I care about or means anything to me, I'll make sure that they lock you up. Let's get out of here.
Oh, I don't know who you are, but I've never seen Dusty so angry before.
Are you a friend of Dustin's?
Yeah, I'm a lot more than a friend.
Oh, really? And the girl with him, that doesn't happen to be Lucinda Walsh's daughter.
Yeah, her name's Lily.
Uh-huh. And, what's your name, pretty lady?
Meg. Meg Snyder.
James Stenbeck.
Well, ladies from the pyrotechnics this afternoon, I think we have got ourselves a hot story.
Oh, boy, I can't wait to interview Barbara Ryan, see how she feels about Stenbeck being alive.
Me too, and their son. I can't wait to hear a 15-year-old's reaction to their father returning from the grave.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Fred Montgomery's here to see you.
Oh, wonderful.
Send him in. Would you ladies excuse me? Certainly. Thank you so
Bye-bye.
much for everything.
Good to see you.
We'll be in
Bye.
touch.
You got the media buzzards here. They circling James Stenbeck?
Oh, I got a real hot story. I do. You want a drink?
No.
Oh.
I'm here on business.
Finally. What?
I want to pay back the Steve Andropoulos loan.
What? What? Oh, are you here, or are you trying to tell me on his behalf to pay back the loan for him?
Nope.
Oh, darling. Really? That's quite irregular. Why are you doing this? You doing it for Betsy? There's nothing I can do about that loan. Tonio is in charge of that loan. Call London. Discuss it with Tonio.
Well, that's a pleasure you know I'd rather forego.
Oh, well, you mustn't let your personal feelings get in the way of business, must you? There's no reason you can't talk with Tonio. Just because Sierra's gone to London to be with him because she's expecting his child.
Here is the check, all right, in full. I want a copy of the agreement that says paid in full. Do you understand?
Time you learn something, baby. You don't get everything you want in this life.
When we're alone,
As soon as I get back to Oakdale, Tony, I want to live alone. I will go to classes as long as I can. And then once our child is born, Tony, I'd like to have a quiet, civilized divorce.
Well, you seem to have made up your mind without consulting me.
Tony, I don't want to hurt you any more than I have. But it has to be my decision. Now, I told you why I came here, so I could think things through. Well, I've done that.
Sierra, I should at least be allowed to be with you during the final months of your pregnancy. That's a father's right.
No, don't quote rights to me. Antonio, maybe if we were the same two people who grew up in Montega, with the same values that were handed down to us by our parents, then I might buy that argument, but Antonio, you and I both know we're not.
Your father would never understand a wife who turns her back on her husband when she's
turning my back on you, Antonio. Antonio, I'm not turning my back on you. I told you that I'm willing to let you be a part of bringing this child into the world. But it has to be on my terms. Now, if you can't accept that graciously, then just forget it. So, what's it going to be? Can we be friends on my terms? Because if we cannot, Tonio, I will begin divorce proceedings as soon as I get back.
Oh, hi. I didn't expect to see you home so early.
Yeah, well, I get so much paperwork now with Iva out.
Is Emily here?
No. She's gonna come back and pick those things up a little later, she said. I think you were a little hard on her.
Oh, come on, Steve. She's been lying to us. She's been seeing this guy, Hensley Taggart, and she kept it a secret from everybody. Now, face it, she's lied about everything. She's covered up everything since she got to town. I think it's about time somebody told her once and for all that that's no way to deal with her problem.
Well, I think that maybe you should open your heart a little bit here. She's your sister. This is the girl has got none of the advantages that you had. I mean, come on, she was raised by a neurotic mother,
Steve,
baby.
she resents
didn't
me.
know Dan the way you did.
She resents me, okay? Because I grew up with Dan and Kim, and she had to be with Susan.
She doesn't resent you. She just needs you to love her. I mean, I came in here, she is so upset over what you said to her, whatever it was.
Come on, haven't you figured it out by now? She just uses her emotions to get what she wants. I'll tell you one thing, I'm sick to death of it, and I'm not going to take it anymore.
Well, I can't believe your attitude. You know, it makes me think that maybe Emily was right.
About what?
She said that the reason you overreacted to this whole thing is because she walked in and found you in Craig's arms.
Hi. Don't worry, we're No, all right.
Holden.
Why aren't you at the office?
Mr. Reyes, I finished the work with you. And I just wanted to come out and hang out with Brandy and friends.
See.
Hi. Antonio, let's go now.
Sierra, I'd like to finish this conversation.
So we can do that on the drive. Why don't we just pay our checks?
Well, how do you like the old White Horse Pub?
It's very nice. It reminds me of that little bistro in Paris that Sierra and Tony took me to.
Wasn't that the place where that student thought he recognized you?
Yeah. Yeah, I wish I'd been able to catch up with him and get his name. Fanny, I know that incident at the airport still bothers you, but you did say you were exhausted that night. Plus you're in a foreign country, away from your family. Isn't it possible she didn't look quite as like
like you as you imagined?
No, no, no. I swear to you, I didn't imagine it. She looked exactly like her.
Franny, what's wrong?
That's her. That's her. I'm going to talk to her.
Hey there.
Hi, can I come in?
Well, join the party.
Hiya, Tom.
Hi.
Hi, you look very chipper.
Well, we were just talking about the fact that when I get out of here, I'm going to be doing a lot of entertaining, some elegant entertaining, because I will be the wife of the brand new Oakdale DA.
Yeah, I want to
I'll learn to have cooking classes.
I want to talk to you. I want to talk to you about that.
For my cooking.
What? No, about our new DA. As such, isn't there something you can do to keep this guy Stenbeck off the streets?
Well, John, you pressed charges, so it's being handled by due process of law.
I don't think that's enough. He's out on the streets right now. He was released free on bail, even though he admitted killing this Taggart guy. Now, forget what he did in the past.
John, apparently he killed Taggart to protect Barbara Ryan from being raped. Now, I don't like the guy any more than you do, but it's in the courts, and you got to stay out of it.
For God's sake, Tom, I just came from Lucinda Walsh's. I made a fool of myself over there. She's got all the media she can lay her hands on. She's trying to whitewash this guy into looking like some kind of a folk hero or something.
I'm Charlie Rose. A 50th anniversary salute to the BBC and more year-end tax tips tomorrow on the CBS Morning News.
They're two of the toughest detectives on the streets, and these ladies don't let anything get in their way. Cagney and Lacey, Monday nights at 9 on KOTV Channel 6. New York. Join us tomorrow for As the World Turns.